Hey everyone, just checking in with you at the beginning of week 11. I hope you had a relaxing and fun weekend. So, just a couple of things. First, I will be holding office hours October 30th, which is today, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So, that's just a reminder. This is optional, so it's not required that you be there. It's just basically if you have a question about course material, or you have a question about your grades, or there's just something you need to talk to me about, feel free to drop in during that hour. But again, it's not required. This would be the same thing as if I had office hours on campus, except I have them on Zoom instead. So feel free to drop by. And to get to the Zoom link, just go on your Canvas course page and click on the link. It's the Zoom link on the left-hand side. It's on the main menu. And then click the join button. That will take you into a waiting room, and I will admit you. And if I'm meeting with another student at that time, I'll send you a little note in the chat that says, hang out. Can you hang out a few minutes while I meet with another student? So just take note of that. And if you can't meet with me, or if you need to meet with me and you can't make it from 7 to 8, just please let me know, and I will schedule some other time with you. Okay, so next, I posted all of the grades from your Market Revolution assignments. So just take a look at the grades and the feedback. I believe I also posted the exam 1 extra credit for those of you who did the extra credit. So take a look at that as well. Last week, we talked about the Jackson era and the evolution of political parties. And the main things I wanted you to get out of last week's course materials, it's basically the impact that Andrew Jackson had on American government, particularly the creation of the Democratic Party, his removal of Native Americans, and his kind of defiance of the Supreme Court. And it just kind of brings up a question about the judiciary and the weakness of the judiciary, in that the Supreme Court really doesn't have anyone that enforces those laws. That's really up to the will of the people. And this was a real test of that at the time. And also the struggles that Native Americans went through, and being displaced from their homes, and many of them dying on the Trail of Tears. And just, Andrew Jackson's overall kind of view of Native Americans was a little bit different than, let's say, Thomas Jefferson. And so just, kind of his views on that, his impact on the banking system during that time period, and actually he ends up leading to the U.S. Treasury, not necessarily under him, but it kind of creates a crisis that exposes a need for it. And then this week, we're kind of pivoting away a little bit and talking about 1800s slavery, and basically the treatment of slaves, and what their life was like, and how they were controlled, and why they were controlled by the white master class, or the white elites, or the planter class. So we learn a lot about what their lives were like, and how horrible their conditions were. Also, it's not that slavery was necessarily different in the 1800s with respect to how slaves were treated, but the type of slavery changes during this time period, that we move from an Atlantic slave trade to domestic slave trade, where slaves are being born in the United States, and that particularly the American South, and even the North, become really dependent on slave labor because cotton becomes a big commodity worldwide, and a lot of that cotton is coming out of the American South. So a lot of people are making money off of having slave labor. So this is one of the pivotal things that really impacts the lead up to the Civil War. So we're talking a lot about that. Okay, I think that is all I have. As usual, if you have any questions or have any concerns or anything of that nature, please let me know. And I hope you have a fantastic week.